Why? Why was Paul given a thorn in the flesh? Look at 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 7. He said, even though I received such wonderful revelations from God, so to keep me from becoming proud. Highlight that. To keep me from becoming proud. I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger from Satan to torment me and keep me from becoming proud. He repeated it twice. Paul had been set aside by God for such an incredible supernatural ministry that resulted in the world being turned upside down. Not only that, Paul had been given multiple visions where God drew back the curtain of mere humanity and allowed him to see such profound spiritual revelations, some of which he was not even given permission to utter. So as Paul traveled and preached what had been divinely revealed to him, both his ministry and his message grew and was growing at such a rate that it made the powers of hell and Satan nervous. He had increasing fame and increasing power like none other except Jesus Christ. Paul became a super apostle, as it was. And Satan recognized early on in Paul's ministry that God had handpicked him, Paul, and had equipped him and given him a supernatural ministry, and undoubtedly Satan had put him on a hit list, so to speak, and wanted to oppose him and ultimately to destroy him and thwart the gospel. But Paul was a holy man. He was truly a godly, holy man. And because there was no moral flaw in Paul that Satan could use against him, he sent a messenger to buffet him and torment him, trying to eliminate him and impede his ministry progress. Now let's look at another word in the Greek. We've already looked at the word messenger from the Greek, the original Greek, angelos, never sickness, never disease, always referred to a demonic spirit, a fallen angel, a demonic influence, etc. But let's take a look at the word thorn. The word thorn in the Greek is skalops, and it's a word used to describe a dangerously sharp or spiked instrument or tool. In other words, it does not necessarily refer to a small little thorn that many of us would envision off of a rose bush or thorny growths or thorny trees, etc. Many of us, when we think of thorns, we think of some small thorn, but from the Greek, it meant more than that. It described a dangerously sharp tool or spiked instrument. As a matter of fact, the word used to describe thorn was the same word that they used in that culture to describe a stake when a man was beheaded and his head was placed upon a stake. I know that that's graphic and perhaps a little gross to imagine, but sadly in history and even still today, many times people in high power, in opposing armies, or people who are used to make a horrible graphic example of, they're beheaded and their head is put on a stake and displayed publicly as a form of terrorism and a desire to spread fear. And so from the Greek, this is actually the word thorn in its truest definition, a dangerously sharp stake. And all who heard it from the original wouldn't have thought of a small thorn or like splinter-like thing under your skin or in your nail. They would have had a much more graphic visualization of a stake with a head after it was decapitated. One thing was sure, Satan wanted Paul's head on a stake. And so this helps us to have a little better understanding and a little deeper layering of what Paul was speaking about when he talked about a thorn in the flesh. Make no mistake about it, Satan wanted to assassinate and eradicate Paul and his ministry and his message. And we get from the Greek, we get the visualization that Satan wanted the Apostle Paul's head on a stake.